key features of a sole trader organisation. Guys, just see how poor your memories are. And don't look back at your notes. You know, just put yourself on the spot and think, I do need to revise this. And if it pushes you to perhaps revise a bit more, that's worth its weight in gold. Okay? So think about 4 key features. Sole trader. I always think organisation is kind of misnomer as, but anyway. How about this one? Does a sole trader need to have a legal deed of ownership? Does a sole trader, guys, if you're eating, can you maybe do it behind your hand because I'm really hungry? So I'm seriously hungry.
So go to the canteen.
Does a sole trader need to have a legal deed of ownership? 4 key features: legal deed of ownership, sole trader. Must a sole trader make information about the business available to the public if asked? I see you've passed out paper. Thanks very much for doing that. Thank you. So I'll just give you a bit. So 4 key features: deed of ownership, legal deed of ownership, information. If somebody goes up to a sole trader and says, like to see your accounts, that's termed the general public, must that sole trader comply with that request? Must they make that information available? Have a think about that. And some of you might like to think about starting up your own businesses as sole traders, yes, because it's got minimum regulations, but there are negative sides. So, can I move on? You okay, guys? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Anybody still? Okay, thank you. Sole trader invests £50,000 of capital in a software business. How much could they lose if the business cannot pay its business debts? Sole trader invests £50,000. So they start up a business and they take maybe £50,000 of their own money, or they go to a bank and have a loan, and that loan is perhaps on their personal assets. And unfortunately, the business is not successful. How much are they going to lose? Just supposing, that's question 4A, yeah? So write your answer as 4A. Here's question 4B, new question. What happens if, when the sole trader business fails, the debts that are owed exceed £50,000? Say they are £250,000. Where is that money going to come from? Sole trader, think about it. This is a key negative feature. So a sole trader calls their business by a name other than their own name: J. Cole, software, IT, teaching, stuff, or Microsoft. I'm J. Cole, but I'm calling it Microsoft. Am I required to register Microsoft as a name? Because it's not my own name. So think about that one. Mind you, that goes with the law of passing off, which is outside the syllabus. But sole trader calls their business by a name other than their own name. Are they required by law to register the name? Everybody okay? Okay, thank you. Let's see how you've done. 4 key features. Let's rock, people. Ownership. Good. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, okay, you guys, okay. This side. How about this side? Sorry. Profits. What happens to the profits? Good one. You get to keep all the profits. What happens with the loss? Yeah, you get that too. Okay, so we've got profits, loss, we've got ownership. I know you mentioned them. What else? Anybody up there? You guys that are suddenly looking down. Anybody like to hazard one? Okay, guys at the front. No. Oh, actually, that is a feature. Actually, that is a bit louder. Unlimited liability. Yes, unlimited liability. Question 4B that I asked you. What else? We've got ownership profits. We have to be careful because we've got unlimited liability. And that compares with a limited company or a PLC. What else? You mentioned it, but guys up there, what else? The C word. You might have ownership of something.
Control?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. So, you own the business. You control. They're two distinct things. Don't make that mistake. You might own something, but you might not control it. Think about a limited company. You might be a shareholder and own the company, but you entrust the day-to-day control, the day-to-day running, to directors, managers, and so on. You've just invested. So don't get those two confused, please. You keep the profits. Yay! But, of course, you get to keep the losses. Unlimited liability. You can, seriously, lose your home. So be aware of that, please. Legal deed of ownership. Hands up who says yes. Okay, hands up who says no. Fence sitters. Tut, tut. I'm very surprised at you lot. No. Who owns a sole trade business? Sole trader business? Who owns the business? Sole trader. So if they own the business, why would they need a legal deed of ownership for their own business? That's maybe, yeah. It can be different when you think about certificate incorporation, a birth certificate for a limited company, but also partnerships, limited partnerships, etc. And just making sure that you know what the profit sharing ratio and all the rest of it is with your partners. So must a sole trader make information, if asked by the public, available? Hands up who says yes. Come in. Hands up who says no. Rock and roll. Well done. Yes. Yes, but you have to make it available, unfortunately, always, if asked by the VAT people and, of course, you know, tax people. So just be aware of that. £50,000. Question 4A. If they cannot pay the debts, how much are they going to lose?
50,000.
And 4B, what else are they going to lose?
Shirt off their back.
Absolutely everything. If they cannot pay that 250,000, they will come after your house. So everything. Sole trader and naming. Are they required to register? Hands up who says yes. And hands up who says no. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because the public have got no access to information because they cannot come to a sole trader and demand information. You should have on your premises, your work premises, your name and contact address. But, yeah, so you do have to register a name other than, because you could be trading. Any questions on that? So just go through and revise your notes. Just when you thought it was safe. No, we've done that one. Sorry. Four key features of a partnership type organisation. Four key features of a partnership type organisation. It's not a trick question. No, it isn't. It isn't.
Shared loss.
Does the partnership need to have a legal deed of ownership between the partners? Must a partnership make information about the business available to the public if requested? Think about the legal situation of the partnership. So we'll get through this quickly. Okay? Each partner invests 50,000. How much could one partner lose if the other partners cannot pay? If the other partner cannot pay their business debt? How much could one partner lose if the other cannot pay the business debt? If two partners did draw up a legal deed for their business, list 4 things that partners should really cover if they draw up a legal deed for their business. What types of things? 4 things. The key there is 4. Four key features of a partnership organisation. Ownership.
Unlimited.
Control, yeah. Shared or otherwise, yeah. What type of liability?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. You've got it. Who owns, who controls, who gets the profits? Unlimited liability. If you don't have a deed agreeing, the presumption in law, and taxation I should say as well, is that it's equal. It's 50-50, or if you've got 4 partners, it's 25% each. It's equal, unless you state in a deed. So, do you have to have, is there a legal requirement to have a deed of ownership?
No.
A bit louder. No, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea. What type of organisation, what's a partnership very, very similar to? Sole trader, exactly. Sole trader. It's very sensible to have one because you're dealing with more than one person, so there could be disputes. And some of the things that you might want to cover is what's the profit sharing ratio, what's the loss sharing ratio, how much capital you put in, how many working hours a week you do, because you might have different skills, different strengths, and so on and so forth. All of that may well go in. How much you own as well, because depending upon how much you put into the organisation, both in terms of capital and in terms of knowledge, expertise, and day-to-day work. Must you make the information available to the public? If this is like a sole trader, what's the answer? No. Same answer as sole trader. Say you've got 2 partners, 50,000 each, so it's 100,000. How much can one partner lose if the other one can't pay the debt?
100. The whole amount.
What's this organisation similar to?
Sole trader.
So therefore, everything. Yeah. Everything. Back to individual unlimited liability. You're in business with partners, so those partners are deemed to be, if you like, little individual sole traders acting in unison. And if the partnership as an organisation incurs debt and they get everything they possibly can from one partner, then they're going to go after the other partner, or however many partners they are, until that debt is satisfied and cleared. Okay. How many of you have had a look at Chris's slide?
But the last question. You forgot one question.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I said I'm leaving.
Oh, yes, sorry. 4 things might be covered. I said this earlier on. 4 things that might be covered. What? Power ratio. Okay, yes, that's a good one. Power ratio. Yeah. Guys, I said this just a few minutes ago. Wow. Kind of, yeah. This is really interesting. Isn't this interesting? I said
The amount of they invest,
the amount of what?
what they invest in a business.
The amount they invest. Yes. The working hours. Share of profit, share of loss. Ownership, control, etc., etc. Yes. Is it, guys, think about this. I'm standing up here talking to you, and maybe some of you are recording it, so if you review it, you might see that I've said it. Some of you may be writing notes, but you haven't got time to look back at those notes, but you missed what I said.
No, I didn't.
I missed what I said, which goes to something else I said in BOP Lectures. By the time you've left your seat and you've got to that door to leave, you will have forgotten most of it unless you make some kind of internal connection. So, yeah, let's have a look. The contribution of each, whether it's capital, working hours, etc., etc. The duties of each, they may differ. Sharing of profits, the salary of each, and also sharing of losses. Any questions on partnership? I think it's quite self-explanatory in the notes, but if you're not sure, then just think about what we've covered here. How many of you have looked at Chris's slide? Yeah? Right. One of the things I've done with students in the past is I've opened up the floor to you to share your experiences about globalization, because you may have connections overseas, you may have families overseas, all sorts of things. So what do you think, bearing in mind your information systems, technology, etc. students, globalization, if you're an organisation that maybe you started in the UK and you're very, very successful and you want to go global, what type of issues do you think you might come across? And maybe you've had experience at first hand with them, or maybe your family has. Maybe they work for an organisation or they own and control an organisation. What type of issues if you're going global?
Culture.
Second, culture. Culture and politics. Okay, that's an interesting one. Do you want to elaborate a little bit about that? Different cultures, different ways of doing business, and you need to know how different cultures do business. In some cultures, it might be an insult to do something in a certain way. And you need to make sure that you don't make that terrible faux pas. You don't make that mistake. What was the other one? Politics. Yes, what is the political situation? And politics is two distinct areas. It's the politics of the internal politics of the organisation. And by the organisation, I'm talking about not just your organisation, but perhaps you might do it, you might engage in business in another country through third parties. You might use them because they've got experience of the culture, etc., and the work ethic, so you do it through them. But there is the issue of the politics in that organisation, and then there is the external pressure of the politics of the government and the country. So all of these things are going on. What else? Thank you.
Language barrier.
Language barrier. Oh, heck, language barrier is a big one, isn't it? Anyone got experience of the language barrier? Come in, Steve. I know, that's okay. Anyone got experience of the language barrier? Yes. Would you care to share them? he was working for a company 2 years ago, yeah? Yeah, geography 15, a bit louder, sorry. In China, yeah? Yeah, Ankara. And how was that? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Yes. So, although you chose a common language, communication is still an issue. So, if communication is an issue, then making sure that perhaps if you're passing instructions or needing something back from them could be a serious issue. Any other points? You know, a few years ago, and I wish I'd taped it, this lecturer was seriously raising a roof. Students had so many tales to tell, it was just amazing, it really was. It was one of those moments where you just wanted to go on forever because they were so interesting, and there was no hesitation about just saying, well, I had this experience, and somebody else goes, well, yeah, but I didn't quite have that. This is what happened to me or someone I know. Anybody want to share anything like that? Oh, heck. Guys, you can't still be shy. No, you might be. You might be shy. But you can't be shy of me. That's for sure. You might be shy of each other, and I respect that. Okay. I tried to put my thoughts very quickly together this morning from my own experience and research. There is a major multi-billion world organisation based in the UK, started in the UK, and it's... How much can I tell you about the organisation there? Well, this is another one, and it agrees with you. They sell, or they trade, what product or service is they trading? Does that agree with you? What product?
Software.
Not software.
Hardware.
What does software do?
Systems.
What do those systems hold?
Information.
Database.
Information. This organisation is trading information for all the global markets worldwide. It's absolutely imperative. It really is. And if you've got information which is going through the network, etc., what's the other in terms of technology thing you've got to have it absolutely on top of? Security. Security. And when I say security, I lecture in change management in information systems and strategic change management in IT, final year students and also master's students. I've been teaching the master's students recently. And the issues that security can raise and the change management procedures if not followed, this is a wonderful example. This really did happen. With this organisation, you have to document on particular forms the procedure that you go through, and it has to be signed off at different levels, so that there's, you're checking all the way through because you're changing the security system. So if you're working on a security system, what's happening to that security system? What could happen? What is it possible? Is it open to? Yes. So you have to be very, very careful. You really do. Not only do you have backup systems, but you're constantly monitoring the security system in all sorts of ways. I mean, it's a fascinating area. Guys, I hope you're not giggling at me. Have I done something funny? I didn't, did I? Did I? Okay. You've got me a bit worried there. I thought, uh-oh. And the UK needed overseas in a particular country on the other side of the world to follow this change procedure. And they dealt with the employees in that other country and the security team and the technicians, etc., the IT technicians, many times. And this particular technician decided that it was, I can't remember what it was something like lunch hour or knocking off time or whatever. And they'd get round to documenting, you know, the change, etc., that London had requested on the security system. No worries. And it cost the organisation £6 million. Not last year, the year before. 6 million, just because this person decided, with cultural differences, knocking off time, or whatever it was, you know, there's no urgency, etc., etc. And they decided not to follow procedure. The work ethic was far more relaxed. It can be very difficult when you're trading with overseas organisations to make sure that the standards are the same, which actually links to a third organisation, because I did some research on this, a global, very large world ITIS organisation, one of the biggest. And I was speaking to one of the software developers who's now she's moving into project management. And I said, you know, was globalisation, bearing in mind how many different countries every country that you deal with, an issue? And she said, you've no idea how much of an issue it is. People seem to think globalisation is all about cultures and people, and as soon as you can, you know, as soon as you've got common ground, you're rocketing. That's far from the truth. The big issue are things like IT infrastructure in overseas countries, the software, the hardware, the basics, the electrical supply, the security system, making sure that you've got staff at the appropriate level who not only know what they're doing, who understand what they're doing, and can communicate if something is needed or something goes wrong. Or that you've got a project that can be controlled and managed with the same work ethic and will get done in the same time frame. She said, this really is a nightmare. And she said, and this is one of the reasons why we spend multi-millions of pounds documenting things. Because if there is a legal comeback, we need to make sure we've got an airtight case. So there are also technological infrastructure issues. And because this organisation is so huge, they have to have far tighter control. So it's literally shape up or off you go. We will do business elsewhere, and they can. The third organisation, I was interviewing somebody this weekend. Hold on, I've got some more notes. Just want to see what I wrote. This is really interesting. This is another major UK bank that are going through this now. Okay, they have been changing and shedding staff in this country, and they have been setting up. They have been set up for a while in India. And that's fine. They've got a lot of graduates straight out of university over there or college with very good skills. Now, this is the interesting thing. Most of us think that there is a pay difference between, say, for example, UK staff and Indian staff, and I was astonished to hear this. He said to me, the main issue is, one of the reasons it's cheaper in India is because when you guys come out of university, you want to get as much experience as possible to put on your CV, and you are far more willing to take a very low salary. And apparently, there's some organisations out there, they literally allow them to get experience for a very low salary. So that's one of the reasons. And what they then do is above people who want to get experience, they have a couple more, just a few more experienced staff to manage and direct. So that was very interesting. But yes, affecting communication, affecting interaction. India begins shift patterns of work, so there's greater overlap of time. The time zone, for example, if it's 3:30, they're working from 3:30 to 11:30 in UK time. That's going to equate to 9 to 11:30 or vice versa in India. But there I write down? Hang on. Yeah, those with ambitious career paths, they actively recruit out of college. And apparently, I don't know why, people out of college and university, they want to be contractors, subcontractors, or they want to be consultants. So this is a way for them to gain experience. So very low pay because they want to get the experience, but they're also very inexperienced as well. The technical services in India, there is a different work ethic, but there is the same platform. For example, DB2, I don't know if you know your databases, but DB2, IBM, RDB, KICS, online in RAS, I don't know what that is, and they still use COBOL. Excuse me. What else? India has started to work shift patterns so that there's a greater overlap so that they can communicate. But he said one of the things he's noticed in the UK is that the project managers in the UK, as soon as they get into work, it's literally on with the headset, and from that moment until they quit at night, it's just talking to different countries and coordinating hundreds of projects. Guys, don't make the mistake of thinking it's a banking software system. The system is massive. You have, just think how many programs, think how many sub-programs, how many routines, how many sub-routines you've got. How many things are, it's continually growing. An information system doesn't stay static. New technology changes things, new work patterns, all of these things change. So an information system is not something in a nice neat box. It's not just like a box type computer and everything. It's massive. You have experts writing specialised programs and so on. Huge. In India, this is something a couple of the final year students and also actually masters, because this is a wonderful case study. Tata. You know Tata Steel? Yeah? Huge, absolutely huge. Well, one of the things they have is Tata Consultancy, IT Consultancy, one of the biggest in the world. They are very aggressive, very aggressive. They are dynamic growth process. Yes, they use a lot of subcontracting staff, and they are red hot at what they do. If you don't measure up, they can drop you in an instant because they know that people are literally queuing up to join them because they have such a reputation. But this is the interesting thing. Even Tata, as big as they are, can make lots of promises, but guess what? They might get delayed, like everybody else, or there might be no delivery because there's a really big problem. So, big organisations, big organisations are huge in Tata, in India. Tata is an Indian organisation. And here's the thing, and I find this interesting. Tata subcontracts third-party software, the third-party software organisation for a bank screening program, which that organisation, the people who Tata subcontracts to another organisation, that organisation, get this, buys in the USA. So you've got a chain effect. So it's not just a simple thing in global terms. So one of the things I cover in second year is supply chain management, and of course these days we're dealing with world markets. But you might think you're dealing with a company in one country, but that country might be buying products from all sorts of other countries themselves. So they've got to organise. They've got to have the software that controls the operation, to harmonise and unify the supply, to pass it on. So massive issues, absolutely massive issues here. So let's have a look at this thing. Actually, why don't you guys, because it's on 10, I make a 20 half, not 22?